Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about the Alaskan Triangle. Now, I did not know there was such a thing until I was flipping through television a while back and came upon a show on the Travel Channel that is this exact thing. It's talking about the Alaskan Triangle, and of course it really got my attention, and I only saw a few episodes of it, and then I just kind of lost interest. But I thought it would be good to talk about it since I've talked about the Bridgewater Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle. I thought, hey, why not do this Alaskan Triangle? All right, so let's get down to it. So, an area in Alaska known for unusual activity, aren't they all? The triangles, that is, including mysterious disappearances, sightings of strange creatures, lights in the sky, and encounters with ghosts. Oops, what happened here? There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Some experts speculate that ley lines or electromagnetic anomalies may be causing these bizarre occurrences within the triangle. The Alaskan Triangle connects the state's largest city of Anchorage in the south to Juneau in the southeast panhandle and to Barrow, a small town on the state's north coast. Here is some of North America's most unforgiving wilderness. Sorry about that, folks. I'm having technical difficulties here. Okay, the area began attracting public attention in October 1972 when a small private plane carrying U.S. House Majority Leader Hale Boggs, Alaska Congressman Nick Begich, I hope I say that right, an aide, Russell Brown, and their bush pilot Don Jontz seemingly vanished into thin air while flying from Anchorage to Juneau. For more than a month, 50 civilian planes and 40 military aircraft, plus dozens of boats, covered a search area of 32,000 square miles, but no trace of the plane, the men, wreckage, or debris were ever found. The expanse has a long history of enigmatic losses. In 1950, one of the nation's largest disappearances of military aircraft and personnel occurred in that region. A C-54 Skymaster, carrying an 8-man crew and 36 passengers, left Anchorage at 1 p.m. on January 26th. The airliner made a routine radio check-in 2 hours later as it flew over a small town in Yukon. That was the last communication anyone ever received from that flight. A search effort was mounted, incorporating U.S. and Canadian planes aided by thousands of volunteers on foot, but nothing was ever found of the C-54. Later, the disappearance of U.S. House Majority Leader Hale Boggs' private aircraft in 1972 would shine a spotlight on the region. The plane lost contact amidst a storm somewhere between Anchorage and Juneau. The ensuing effort to find wreckage or survivors was one of the largest in U.S. history. Unfortunately, after 39 days with no traces of the passengers or plane, the investigation ended. A 1986 report made to the Federal Aviation Administration from a Japanese cargo flight provides the basis for one extraterrestrial theory. Allegedly, Japan Airlines Flight 1628 encountered 3 unidentified aerial phenomena above that region. The pilot reportedly thought the aircraft were military and paid them no mind. Moments later, he realized that the objects were keeping pace and moving erratically around his own jet. Over the next 50 minutes, the strange aircraft shadowed Flight 1628's every move, while emitting bursts of blinding lights. The statements made by the crew were verified by civilian and military radar, and the FFA report went on to garner national attention. Another theory is that the triangle is home to massive swirling energy vortexes. Now, isn't that what they say about the other Bermuda Triangle? These energy centers are believed to impact human emotions and behavior based on their rotation. A clockwise spinning vortex creates positive effects, while a counterclockwise spin promotes negativity and bewilderment. Electronic readings have indeed found higher intensities of magnetic irregularities in Alaska, and search teams have reported compass malfunctions up to 30 degrees off. Wow, 30 degrees. Volunteers often recount experiencing mysterious symptoms while searching the area, including disorientation and audio hallucinations. The native Tlingits and Tsimshian peoples have their own explanation for the disappearances, and I am sorry, I probably am butchering these names. The Kashtaka is a shape-shifting cryptid that stalks Alaska's wilderness looking for human prey. While often compared to the mythology of Bigfoot, the Kashtaka seems to operate in a much more sinister manner. According to lore, the otter-like creatures disguise themselves as a trusted relative or friend and appear to those who are lost or injured. They lead their victims deeper into the wild, ultimately tearing them apart or turning them into another Kashtaka. The legend is especially popular in southeastern Alaska. Alaskan residents and tourists seem to vanish into thin air. In fact, since 1988, more than 16,000 people have disappeared in the Alaska Triangle, with a missing person rate at more than twice the national average. In any given year, 500 to 2,000 people go missing in Alaska. Wow. Authorities conduct hundreds of rescue missions, most often return without finding the missing person or any evidence at all. These disappearances are blamed on everything from severe weather to aliens to swirling energy vortexes to an evil shape-shifting demon of Indian lore called Kashtaka. But the most likely explanation of these many missing peoples is the wilderness itself. Within this area are dense forests, craggy mountain peaks, massive glaciers, hidden caves, and deep crevices where downed aircraft or lost hikers might easily be hidden and then covered by snowfall, hiding any trace of human activity. This harsh landscape is also filled with wild animals and is subject to unforgiving weather, including avalanches. In the past 4 decades, people have gone missing from the region at a rate of about 4 from every 1,000 individuals, 2 times the national average. Hundreds of coordinated search and rescue missions take place every year to find residents, hikers, tourists, and airplane passengers, often to no avail. More than half of the nation's federally designated wilderness lies in Alaska, and many of the permanent disappearances are linked to natural elements. Alaska is bound by 33,000 miles of coastline, contains more than 3 million lakes, untamed wildlife, and winters that blanket vast reaches of the state in snow and ice. However, there are many that support the idea of energy vortexes within the triangle, like we earlier mentioned. Let's touch base on those energy vortexes some more. They are thought to be swirling centers of energy concentrated in specific places where the energy crackles most intensely. The energy radiates in a spiraling cone shape clockwise or counterclockwise, creating positive or negative effects, like we mentioned earlier. They are thought to affect humans in various physical, mental, and emotional ways. Positive vortexes spiral upward in a clockwise motion, creating an enhancing flow of energy. This type is said to be conducive to healing, meditation, creativity, and self-exploration. People actively search these places out to feel inspired, recharged, or uplifted. Some of the places where positive vortexes are said to exist are the Egyptian pyramids, Stonehenge, the Sedona Desert, and sacred temples and cathedrals throughout the world. Alternately, negative vortexes spiral downward in a counterclockwise motion, creating a draining or depleting energy and depleting the positive energies in its vicinity. In humans, they are believed to cause health problems, including depression, nightmares, disorientation, confusion, and both visual and audio hallucinations. They are also said to cause electrical instruments to malfunction. Some places that are said to be filled with negative vortexes are the Bermuda Triangle, Japan's Devil's Sea, and Easter Island. Electronic readings in Alaska have found large concentrations of magnetic anomalies, some which have disrupted compasses to the point that they are as much as 30 degrees off, like I said earlier. In addition, some search and rescue workers have reported having audio hallucinations, disorientation, and lightheadedness. It is unclear whether vortexes really exist, and the theory has been open to a good amount of skepticism. But is it possible? Despite the warnings from authorities regarding weather, wildlife, and environmental conditions, hundreds of tourists visit Alaska to see the unspoiled land, many of whom are unprepared for the natural elements. Some of these people probably became lost in the middle of nowhere, resulting in the numerous search and rescue operations performed each year. That, however, does not explain why there are disappearances in the Alaska Triangle than elsewhere in the state. Whether the mysterious disappearances of the Alaska Triangle are the result of natural perils, strange energy vortexes, or ancient evil spirits, they are certainly alarming. Okay, so next, I am going to tell you about a popular guy or gal in Alaska that is also a big mystery, and that is the Alaskan Yeti. Is there such a thing? Well, let's see. And also, it's another Travel Channel show. Yes, it is. And that's how I got the idea for this. I never would have thought, like, such a thing existed. Like, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I know that Yetis, are a big thing now. Bigfoot and the Yetis. But I didn't think that people actually took it that serious. I thought it was more of just some sort of character, but people do take this Alaskan Yeti very seriously, just like they take Bigfoot seriously. And let's talk about it. All right, the Alaskan Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman, which I thought was just a cartoon character. Yeti is a large ape-like creature with a bad temper. Yeti is usually depicted as having white fur and an angry face. There is a tale that in December of 2018, ooh, that's recent, a man named Colliers Kwilinski reported a terrifying Yeti encounter in Homer, Alaska. One winter day, Mr. Kwilinski was making a snowman in the woods with his 3-year-old child when he heard strange sounds deep in the woods. Curious, Mr. Kwilinski made the bold choice of bringing his child along to investigate the sounds. What could possibly go wrong in the Alaskan wilderness? Suddenly, they came upon a large, white, ape-like creature feeding on a deer. The beast turned to face them with blood all over its mouth. The Yeti did not like being disturbed, and it became very angry. The hairy monster lunged toward them and grabbed Mr. Kwilinski's son, who cried loudly as the Yeti dragged him into the woods and disappeared. It is unclear if Mr. Kwilinski was able to save his son, but there is no denying the veracity of his first-hand account. I do want to mention that Homer, Alaska is not part of the Alaskan Triangle, just so you are aware. The Thomas Bay incident was shared in the book The Strongest Story Ever Told. In this tale, a prospector named Charlie is pursued by horrible-smelling creatures with coarse white fur. The creatures sported long claws and howled at Charlie in some kind of forensic gibberish that chilled him to the bone. Many have speculated that these creatures were Bigfoots, or Kashtaka. but the white fur all but confirms they were Yeti. Some claim that the creatures were actually Chinese immigrants. A few months before Prospector Charlie's Thomas Bay incident, a boat carrying Chinese immigrants sank in the area just offshore. All on board the boat were presumed dead, but the people speculate that a few may have survived and taken up residence in a cave near Thomas Bay. Mountain goats frequent the region, so the men may have hunted the goats and used their white fur for coats. The screaming gibberish of the so-called monsters was probably desperate men asking for help in their native tongue. It's obvious that this story doesn't hold up against the overwhelming evidence that the monsters were actually Yeti. Yeti is known to have originated in the Himalayas, so how did they get to Alaska? Story goes that a rare classified document reveals that a desperate Yeti accidentally fell asleep in an airplane cargo hold while it was on a runway in Tibet. The Yeti awoke to find itself mid-flight over the Pacific Ocean. Fortunately, there was adequate food for the Yeti on the plane, even though the bathroom accommodations were lacking. The plane eventually landed in Dawson City, Yukon Territory. The Yeti lived in a cave near Dawson City where it fed on moose and berries. Numerous miners spotted the creature during the Klondike Gold Rush, and their first-hand accounts are fascinating. I bet they are. The miners affectionately named the Yeti Gronket. A few years after the gold rush, Gronket was abducted by a space alien and taken to its homeworld. The aliens grew to love Gronket, so they found her a mate before bringing her back to Alaska in June of 1908. All of the Alaska Yeti spotted today are descendants of Gronket. I want to mention here that Dawson City is part of the Alaskan Triangle. Okay, wow, that story is wild for sure. I don't believe that for a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today's Alaskan Triangle and Alaskan Yeti stories. So if you have a tale of seeing a Yeti, or if you would like to see a Yeti, let us know down in the comments section below. We would like to hear that. Also, do you think that that last story that I just read could possibly happen? You know, is the Yeti actually like a space alien and the aliens came down and they took her back up in their plane and gave her a mate and sent her back down to breed in Alaska? If so, I would like to pick your brain a little on this. Answer me this. Why Alaska? Of all the places in the world, why Alaska? Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And remember, stay spooky, my friends.